Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute rainbow tassel macrame wall hanging. You can find all the measurements on the screen, or in the description box I have put the measurements in feet and inches. This is such a fun and unique design. I really love how it turned out and I hope you do too. So you're going to need a branch. Mine measures around 60 centimeters. It could be wider if you wanted, but I found that 60 centimeters was a good length. And obviously you're going to need some macrame cord. So this is a 3mm 3-ply macrame cord, and I have it listed in the description box down below. It's my favourite and I've used it ever since I started macrame. And obviously you're going to need some coloured cord. So here I'm just laying out some cords that are in rainbow colours. And I'll try and link all these cords or similar ones down in the description box below. So this is what I'm going to be using for my tassels. But obviously it's up to you which colour you use, or you could even just use white macrame cord for all of it. I think that would look really pretty as well. So it's entirely up to you, but I'm going to go with these nice fun rainbow colours. You will need a tape measure, scissors, and these are some jewellery pliers. They're optional, but they're actually really handy, so I do recommend them. This is just a wire brush. It's a pet brush, but I use it just for my macrame, and a comb. I'll have one linked down below as well for you. They're really great at separating all the cords really quickly. So let's get started. Sorry about the background here. I'm currently in a different place, so it's a bit difficult to film, but I'm trying my best, and the angle's a bit odd. So I've currently attached 41 of my cords in a lark's head knot, but just quickly, if you don't know what a lark's head knot is, just take one of your 400 centimeter length of cords and fold it in half. Take the midway point behind your branch, and then just pass those two cords through the loop there, and then pull that to tighten it. And that is a lark's head knot. So go ahead and attach all your 42 lengths of cords onto your branch like that, leaving an equal distance at either end. So once that's done, we're going to start creating some berry knots. So you take 4 cords like this, take the right cord over the 2 middle ones, and the first one on the left will go in front of that one, behind the middle 2 cords, and through this loop here. And then you can just pull that to the top of your work, but leave a small gap like this. We'll need that at the end. And take the first cord over the middle 2, behind the 4th, and the 4th will go in front of that one, behind the middle 2, and through this loop here. So this is a square knot, so in order to create berry knots we need to make 4 square knots in a row. So I'm just continuing doing that until I have 4 of these. I do actually have a video up on my channel already all about macrame knots with I think 10 different macrame knots in there. I'll have it linked in the iCards here for you, which you can check out. So now that we have 4 square knots in a row, we're going to grab our jewellery pliers. And you can see these 2 loops at the top here. We're going to come from behind and through one of them. So I'm going on the one on the right. And then we're going to take that middle cord, the one on the right, so the 3rd cord, and pull it through. So it comes from the front through to the behind like that. And then we're just going to repeat the same on the left side. So we're going to come through that loop there, take the left one from the middle, and then through that again, just like that, making sure that the right middle cord goes through the right loop and the left cord goes through the left loop. And then we can go ahead and just pull those 2 cords tight like this, and you'll see it will start to curl up and form the berry knot. And then we can take the 2 outer cords again and just create 1 square knot to secure it in place. And there's a berry knot. It's very cute and it adds a lot of texture to your wall hanging. We're just going to repeat this using up all your cords. So 4 square knots per set of cord, and then just pull in the 2 middle cords through the 2 loops and tightening them, and then securing it with 1 square knot at the end. So I actually find it easier to do it this way. So I create all the square knots and I use my jewellery pliers to pull it through, and then I just go ahead and do the 1 last square knot on all of them. So now we're going to do a 2nd row of square knots. We're going to take out the first 2 cords here because we're going to do an alternating row. And then we're going to take those 4 cords and do the exact same. So this is called an alternating row of, you can do it with square knots, but here we're doing it with berry knots. And then again, we're just going to repeat this going the whole way along our wall hanging, making sure to leave out the end 2 cords of the other side as well. Just like that. So now we have 2 lovely rows of berry knots. So we're going to take one of our 55cm lengths of cord, and we're going to take the first cord here, and we're going to create rows of double clove hitch knots. So we're going to take that cord from behind, like so, up and over to the left a bit. And then we're going to take it up, behind it, and then through that loop, just there. So this first one is always the hardest to create, and I hate making the first one, but after that it's really easy to do. So now we've got it tightened, we can just move it to the bottom of the berry knots, so they're snug up against the berry knots. So we're taking that second cord, going to come up and over the cord in your hand, and behind, and then through this loop here. And then we're just going to repeat that exact same step on the same cord, so we do it twice with each cord. Sorry, my arm keeps getting in the way, it's annoying me, so it must be annoying you. So that's a double clove hitch knot, so we're just going to repeat this going the whole way along our wall hanging, making sure to keep the line as straight as we can. So here's one line done, and now we're just going to take another 55cm length of cord and do the exact same directly underneath that. So you have 2 lines of double clove hitch knots. And then I'm just going to snip off the excess cords. I like to leave about 2 centimeters hanging either side. And I'm just going to comb it out. I prefer that look, but you can do whatever you would prefer. So now we can start on the X shape. I did film this one, but for some reason my camera only caught the first 30 seconds and the last like minute of it, so that was annoying. But we're going to be taking groups of 12 cords like this, and then I'm just going to push those ones out of the way so I don't get them all mixed up. So we're taking the first cord on the left here and angling it down towards the right, and we're just going to create double clove hitch knots again, but at an angle. So it's the exact same process as that line, but you're just angling it down towards the right to create that arrow shape. So we're going to do 5 knots until you hit the middle cord, so you should have 6 cords left on the right side, like this. And then we're going to take the last cord here and angle it down towards the left and do the exact same. So complete 5 double clove hitch knots, so it will then meet in the middle with the other line. So now that that's done, we need to join the 2 together. So I'm going to do just like that one, clove hitch knot going down towards the right. So we're going to take this last cord again and create another row of double clove hitch knots until you hit the middle cord again. Just like that, and now we can take this first cord and complete a row of double clove hitch knots, but instead of stopping at the middle, we're just going to continue this one right down to the bottom right to create that long continuous line. just like that. So now we can count in 6 from the left and take the 6th cord, angle it down towards the left and complete another row of double clove hitch knots. So you can really see your X shape starting to form now. So again, we're going to take the 6th cord from the left, angle it down towards the right and complete another line of double clove hitch knots. And then lastly, just to finish this X shape, we're going to take the 6th cord again and angle it down towards the left and complete one last row, which will then finish this X shape here. And there you have it, that is how to create your X shape. So now we're going to repeat this using the groups of 12 cords, so we have 7 X's in total. Okay, now that we have all our lovely X's here, we can go ahead and create the diamond shape, which is where we're going to put the tassel. So we're taking this first cord on the left. I'm going to create a line of double clove hitch knots going down towards the right. That matches this line here. And we're just going to stop when we hit the middle cord. And then we're grabbing the last cord, angling it down towards the right to meet that other line that you've just created. So for this, it doesn't matter if you join the two together with one going towards the right or the left, because it won't be seen. And now that is our diamond shape where we'll be putting our tassels. So we can just repeat that with the other 6 X's until we have 7 diamonds in total. And now it's time to get all our colours for the tassels, or whatever colours you're going to be using. So I'm just putting them aside and working on one group at a time. And annoyingly, I wasn't on screen here, but I'm just peeling the cords apart to make it easier to comb out. So each cord consists of 3 strands twisted together, so I'm just untwisting them, taking my time with it. So I'm going to repeat that with the rest of the reds, and then I'm going to bring in my other colours and do all those groups as well. So this is a great thing to do with a coffee whilst you're just watching Netflix or something, because it takes a long time to do. But now you can see that I've separated all the cords for all the different colours. So I'm just putting the other colours to the side for now and grabbing my wire brush and comb. And I'm going to work on the red section first. So I find it easier to pinch the middle like this and then work my way from the bottom up, and then flip it round and work my way from the bottom up again. I find that this way you don't get too many tangles, but it does take a long time to comb them out and make them nice and fluffy. You can see how lovely and fluffy it is now. All in all, I think I spent about an hour and a half just peeling the tassels apart and combing them all out. So you can see that the red one is all combed out now. It's nice and fluffy and soft looking, so I'm just going to repeat that with the others. And the easiest way to get all the fluff out of your wire brush is to just take your comb like this and just comb through it. It's really quick and easy to get rid of all the fluff in there. So I'm just going to take them all and repeat that and do the same for them all. And now all the cords are here. So you can see this orange one, it kind of separated and it didn't want to go together, but that doesn't matter, you won't notice it in the final product. And this was also filmed over a few days, so hence my jumper change. I changed it quite a lot in the video. So I'm going to be taking my first section for the first tassel, so the red section for me. I'm just giving it one brush out on the middle part, which is where you would see it most. I'm going to take my jewellery pliers and this will really come in handy here. So I'm going to go in the middle and I'm going to go behind the 3 cords on the left here and through. So I'm going to be grabbing onto the tassel with my pliers. It's a bit difficult to do because the tassel is super chunky, but you'll get there in the end with some patience. And I'm just going to pull it through. And I'll just use my hands to pull the rest of it through, so it's a bit easier once you get it through the cords. So it's through those cords there, and now you can see if I pull it over, that would create the middle part. Like that, so I'm just going to brush it one more time to get it as smooth as I can. And then I'm going in with my pliers again, so I'm going in through the middle section. I'm picking up the 3 cords on the right. And then again, I'm just pushing my tassel into the pliers and trying to pull it through. So you can make your tassel with a lot less cords if you want, which would make this part a bit easier, but I really like the super chunky tassel look, so that's why I've gone with 10. So I'm just working and pulling that through, grabbing the last of it with my hands. Like that, so you can see the tassel shape has formed now. So now I'm just taking my time to make it nice and pretty and try and smooth everything out as much as I can. Make sure there's no weird random cords poking out. Like that one. Much easier to brush it if you hold that middle section there, so you won't pull anything through. But I did take an awful lot of time just to try and get them as perfect and as smooth as I can. I'm not worried about combing out the bottom of the tassel too much because we're going to be cutting it. So you can just repeat that with your 6 other tassels. How pretty does it look? I love it. And now it's time to cut the tassels. So I'm just grabbing my scissors and my tape measure. I'm measuring roughly how long I want my tassels. So I went with 9 centimeters. I thought that was quite a good length. Again, I'm just holding down that middle point and brushing it out and then cutting it to 9 centimeters long. It's a very rough cut because I did go ahead once I'd finished the whole wool hanging and just trim it up a bit more to make it as even as I can. But at the end of the day it is handmade, so there are bound to be some imperfections, which makes it all unique and lovely. Just repeating that with the other tassels, like so, and now we can grab one of our 55 centimeter lengths of cord. And we're going to do a row of double clove hitch knots going underneath the tassels, keeping it as straight as we can, and then we're repeating that once more so we have 2 rows underneath the tassels. And now I'm just repeating this whole X section that we done along the bottom here. So grabbing the 12 tassels at a time and creating an X, so 7 X's in total, mirroring above the tassels. Now that they look exactly the same and they look nice and neat, we're just going to finish this off by taking the last 2 55 centimeter cords and creating 2 rows of double clove hitch knots. So it's a nice easy wool hanging because it just repeats a few knots at a time, but it does look quite intricate, I think. This is optional, but I like to wrap some of the tassels at the bottom like this, which is what those 21 lots of 18 centimeter cords are. But if you have opted not to do them, you can just skip this part. But I like to do it. I like to think it finishes the wool hanging off and adds a nice element to it. So I'm just using scrap cords for this, which is why they are all different lengths, but around 18 centimeters is good. So we're just going to turn the wool hanging around. So we're going to create a wrapping knot or a gathering knot, and then we're going to grab 4 cords at a time. So we're going to put a little tail at the top like that and a small loop at the bottom. And then we're taking this longer cord and wrapping it round. So I like to wrap it so it has 3 nice clear wraps at the front of it. And then we're going to take this longer tail bit and go through this loop here. You can gently hold that in place and pull on the top tail at the top, and it will secure that cord, but don't pull it all the way through as that will undo the knot. I'm sorry this was completely out of focus. I didn't realise as I was filming this, and of course there's another change of jumper. But if you want a more in-depth tutorial on how to create a wrapping knot, I will link my macrame knot video in the description, which I show you how to do that in a much better, clearer video. And you can just snip off the excess cord here and repeat for all the other cords. So now I've repeated that with the other tassels. This is optional as well, but I just like to take some fabric glue and just dab it on each end of the cords. So this is definitely not necessary, but as I'm selling this one on my Etsy shop, I want to make sure that nothing comes undone. So you can just flip it around now and you can see it's nice and neat at the front, and now we can just trim the tassels to whatever length we want. So I also didn't realise that I wasn't on screen for this, but I'm cutting mine to around 24 centimetres long. Not that you can see it, but here we go, here's a better shot. So I've done the first one at 24 centimetres, and I'm just kind of matching them up as I go and cutting them so I don't have to keep measuring each bunch of cords individually. And now it's all cut out. So you can see on this first one I have combed out all the tassels, which you can do if you want. Or you can leave them as is, it's totally up to you. But for this one, I have just separated all the cords like we've done with the tassel, pulled them all apart. And I'm just leaving it like this because I love the sort of crimped, curly look it gives. Now we can take our 120 centimetre length cord for the hanging cord. And I'm just attaching it on either side using a standard double knot. And yeah, again, there's another change of jumper. And now you can just determine how long you would want it to hang, and then attach it onto the other side. And then again, I'm just taking some fabric glue and just gluing that knot. Because I am selling this one, I really don't want it to fall off. Don't forget to keep all the scraps from your wall hanging and save them because you can make so many things from them. I will link my scrap cord playlist here, which I'm working on some new video ideas for it as well. So now I can just take off the temporary cord that was hanging it up by, and the wall hanging is finished. I really hope you love this piece, and like I said before, I'll be selling this exact one on my Etsy shop, which the link is in my description if you're interested. And if you do recreate this wall hanging, please be sure to tag me on Instagram at LunaCraftsOnline. I'd really love to see it and share it. I'd really love to see what colours you have used, or whether you just went all white. If you could subscribe, like or comment, that would really help me out and make my day, and I'd appreciate it so much. I can't believe we're nearly at 1,000 subscribers as I'm filming this voiceover, but we probably have hit it by now, which is just crazy, and thank you all so much for your support, and I hope you have a lovely week. Bye!